There comes a moment in life when everything suddenly goes quiet, not because the world becomes peaceful, but because your soul has reached its limit. A moment when you realize that explaining yourself, reacting, and proving your worth has drained more energy than the struggle ever did. This is where something shifts. This is where just do right stops sounding simple and starts feeling like survival. Not advice, not motivation, a decision. A line drawn so deeply within you that no noise outside can cross it. Because peace only arrives when your actions finally align with who you truly are. Doing right doesn't mean life becomes fair. Often it becomes more revealing. When you choose integrity in a world addicted to shortcuts, contrast appears immediately. Some people respect it silently, others feel exposed by it. But your focus is no longer on reactions, it moves inward. You stop asking how something looks and start asking whether it feels clean in your spirit. That question alone changes everything. There is power in choosing what is right when no one is watching. No applause, no validation, no guarantee of reward, just you and your conscience. This is where character forms quietly. Strength without witnesses. You learn that doing right isn't about perfection, it's about consistency. About choosing the higher ground even when the lower one feels easier, faster, and more tempting. Many delay doing right because they're waiting for others to change first. They wait for apologies, fairness, recognition, or understanding. But doing right is not conditional. It doesn't depend on who hurt you or disappointed you. It's a decision to stop lowering yourself just to survive the environment. When you do right, you reclaim authority over your life. You stop bleeding energy into spaces that no longer deserve access. Doing right is not weakness. It is discipline. It is restraint. It is knowing when silence carries more power than reaction. When integrity speaks louder than explanation. When you just do right, your life begins to speak for you without defense. Something inside you stabilizes when you live this way. You sleep differently. You move differently. You respond instead of react. Even when outcomes are uncertain, your inner alignment becomes unshakable. The reward is not approval or timing. It's knowing you never betrayed yourself. There comes a stage where doing right stops feeling noble and starts feeling expensive. This is where many turn back. Because now the choice has consequences. You may lose comfort, access, relationships, or opportunities. But this is where integrity proves itself. Doing right when it costs you reveals whether your values are real or convenient. Loneliness may follow. Doubt may whisper. You may wonder if the sacrifice is worth it. But losing alignment with yourself costs far more than losing approval ever could. Doing right teaches emotional maturity. You stop bargaining with your conscience. You stop rewriting narratives to justify what doesn't sit right inside you. You begin to understand that not every loss is punishment. Some losses are protection disguised as pain. Some doors were never meant to stay open forever. Doing right may make you look foolish to those who chase wins at any cost. They may mock restraint or misread silence as weakness. But those who live by shortcuts rarely trust themselves, and those who don't trust themselves struggle to respect others. Results may be delayed. Recognition may never come the way you expect. This is where patience becomes part of integrity. When you do right, without demanding immediate reward, your values become unshakable. Doing right doesn't guarantee comfort, it guarantees clarity. You feel clean. Your mind rests because your actions no longer fight your conscience. You stop carrying guilt, inner conflict, and self-betrayal. The freedom you gain outweighs anything you lose as you continue your energy changes. Quietly, unmistakably, people feel it. A steadiness enters your presence. Calm replaces urgency. Confidence forms without performance. You stop shaping yourself to be accepted. You stop explaining. Neutrality becomes your strength. You cultivate quiet authority. You stop forcing outcomes. You let consistency speak. Chaos starves when it gets no reaction. Manipulation loses access. Boundaries form without announcement. You become more discerning, not cold, clear. You recognize what drains you and what strengthens you. Your silence becomes intentional, protective, measured. When you speak, people listen because your words are no longer impulsive. Your inner and outer worlds align. That alignment creates an energy that cannot be faked. You don't control situations anymore. Your presence does the work. Doing right protects you from regret. Not surface regret, but the kind that haunts people in silence. Regret comes from crossing your own line. Integrity removes that future weight before it forms. You stop rushing decisions to escape discomfort. You stop retaliating to feel momentary relief. You choose future peace over temporary release. You protect who you're becoming. Your personal history stays clean. You may not win every situation, but you don't lose yourself trying. That knowledge steadies you later when life tests you again. Others carry tension they can't explain. Replay conversations, justify behaviors. You move forward lighter because alignment replaced impulse. Pain lived with integrity becomes wisdom. Pain lived with compromise becomes baggage. Doing right saves you from becoming someone you'd later have to heal from. Your relationships change. Clarity exposes imbalance. You stop overgiving, over-explaining, over-adjusting. Boundaries strengthen without confrontation. Some connections fade not from conflict, but misalignment. You no longer abandon yourself to keep bonds alive. Entitlement loses access. Respect replaces confusion. You attract deeper, calmer connections, mutual, honest, grounded. You realize you were never losing people, you were outgrowing dynamics. Doing right becomes identity. You move without inner negotiation. Peace becomes earned, not wished for. You face challenges without panic because your foundation is clean. Hardship no longer fractures you. Your principles are not seasonal. You stand behind how you showed up, regardless of outcome. Restraint becomes wisdom. Silence becomes authority. Boundaries become self-respect. You stop chasing closure and start living forward. Doing right was never about perfection. It was about staying whole, refusing to fracture yourself just to survive. So just do right, quietly, consistently, even when it costs you. Because long after moments pass and people change, you will still have yourself. And there is no greater strength than standing at peace, knowing you never betrayed your own soul.